All right, hi folks, this is Larry Mussolino. I wanted to record a video here on MATH022 Alex Objective 4. And Objective 4 involves working with percentages. So what Alex wants to cover here is converting back and forth from percentages to decimals and also converting fractions to percentages. And then down below, you'll see things like finding tax rates, working with perimeter and area. So let's get started. Why don't I come up here and it says how to convert a percentage to a fraction. It says write 9% as a fraction, and there's no need to simplify your answer. Well, the first thing we have to do is really understand, what does a percentage mean? Well, if I write 9%, I could write that out in words as percent. Well, per means division and cent means 100. So really, when you see 9%, it means 9 divided by 100. Remember, the word per means division and the word cent means 100. But 9 divided by 100, I could write as a fraction as 9 over 100. So that's the answer. All you have to do is take a percentage. So if I gave you 23%, take that number 23 and put it over 100, because the percentage symbol means divide by 100. Okay, 76% would be 76 divided by 100. Okay, let's do a few more examples. What about changing from a decimal to a percentage? Well, here are the rules. To change a decimal to a percentage, what you do is you move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and you add a percent symbol to it. The reason you're adding the percent symbol is you want to show that you're changing from a decimal to a percentage. So your answer has to have a percent symbol, right? A percentage always has that percent symbol. So I'm going to take 0.06. I'm going to grab the decimal point and move it 2 positions to the right. That gives me a 6. Add the percent symbol, 6%. So if I had, let me give you another example, 0.735. Change this to a percentage. Take the decimal point, move it 2 positions to the right. That would make it 73.5. Add the percent symbol to it. All right, so what you have to remember is, if you want to go from a decimal to a percentage, you're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. All right, well, let's go the other way. What if you're going from a percentage to a decimal? Well, that's going to involve moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So we're going to do the opposite for changing from a percent to a decimal. So let's go do that. We want to change from a percentage to a decimal. All right, so here is the rule to change a percentage to a decimal. You move the decimal point 2 places to the left, and you drop the percent symbol. Because remember, if you're going from a percentage to a decimal, the number is no longer a percentage, so you should not have the percentage symbol anymore. All right, so let's do it, 19%. Well, the one thing I have to recognize is that the decimal point is not written, but really it is sitting to the right of the 9 like that. All right, now let's go ahead and move the decimal point. We want to grab the decimal point, move it 2 places to the left. That makes it 0.19, drop the percent symbol. So our answer here is 0.19. What if we had 236%? Well, the decimal point starts out here, move it 2 places to the left. This would be 2.36. I'll give you one more example. What if we had 0.72%? And we wanted to change this to a decimal. Well, you have to grab the decimal point and move it 2 positions to the left, 1, 2. That would make the new decimal point here 0072. Notice I used a 0 to fill in this empty placeholder position. Okay. What if we do an example here? Find a percentage of a whole number. So it says use the Alex calculator to find 6% of 43. Now, the one thing we're going to talk about in a few minutes is when you see the word of means multiply. So I'm going to change this to be 6% multiplying 43. So when you see the word of, this translates to a multiplication. All right, well, I can't work this out on my calculator because my calculator wants a decimal, not percentages. So I'm going to change 6% to a decimal. I'm going to grab the decimal point and move it 2 places to the left. That's going to be 0.06 times 43. Now I could just work this out. And on this problem, Alex will give you a calculator over on the right-hand side of the screen. So you can work this out. You'll get the answer 2.58. Okay, so what we did is we changed the word of to be a multiply symbol. We changed 6% to its decimal equivalent, and then we just multiplied using a calculator. All right. How if we come here, it says find the rate of a tax or commission. Okay. Folks, by the way, remember you have this explanation to help out. All right. So this is asking you to find a salesperson sells 3,700, earns a commission of 444. What is the commission rate? Really, they're asking you what percentage X, if you multiply it by 3700, you get the answer 444. Because if you take the commission rate, X, multiply it by the amount sold, you get the commission earned 444. Well, one thing I could do here is I could just divide both sides by 3,700 because I want to get X by itself. All right, well, if I do that, I'm going to end up with X equals 0.12. But they want the answer as a percentage. So I could just move the decimal point 2 places to the right. That gets me 12%. So the commission rate here was 12%. All right. Let's go here. How about finding the perimeter? All right, it says find the perimeter of the square. So of course, what we have to know is what does perimeter mean? Well, perimeter is the distance around the outside of a figure, of a shape. So if they're asking me a perimeter, what they're asking me is if I start at this corner and walk all the way around and come back to my starting point, how far did I walk? Well, when you see a square mentioned, the square means all sides are the same. So this is 23 feet on all 4 sides. So the perimeter here is just adding up the 4 sides. So it's going to be 23 plus 23 plus 23 plus 23. And if I work this out, this is going to be, I think it's 92 feet. Now notice here it says be sure to include the units in your answer. So when you work out perimeter, the perimeter stays the same as the unit you started with. So if you start out with feet, the perimeter is measured in feet. All right, so really for perimeter, what you have to do to find the perimeter, you just add up the sides of whatever figure you're working with. All right, and by the way, if you go into the reference packet, there'll be formulas for perimeter versus area. So let's go to an area example. All right, so it says find the area of the square. Well, the first thing I know is if they tell me it's a square, all the sides have the same measurement of 8 inches. All right, well, now they want the area. Area is measuring the space inside the figure. That's what we're going to calculate now, the area inside of V. If you're laying carpeting down, how much carpeting do you need to cover the floor of your bedroom? That's what area is measuring. Well, the formula for area is just take the length times the width. In our example, it turns out the length and width are the same, 8 times 8. So our area is 64. Now, the one thing you got to be careful about is units. For area, units are always measured in square units. So it might be square inches, square feet, and so on. In our case, it was inches that we started with, so this would be square inches as our answer. So the answer would be 64 square inches. All right, let's do a couple more examples. About here, it says, find the length of a side, knowing the perimeter. All right, so here's what it says. The perimeter of this rectangle is 150 units. Find the length of side VY. Well, when they say VY, they mean the side that goes from corner V to side Y. So this is the unknown side that we're trying to figure out. All right. Well, I'm noticing they labeled this side as 4x plus 1. That means this side has to be the same, 4x plus 1. And the bottom is 5x plus 2. That means the top has to be 5x plus 2. They're telling me the perimeter is 150. But remember, perimeter, it means add up the sides. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add up the sides. I have one side is 5x plus 2. Another side is 4x plus 1. The bottom is 5x plus 2. And the last side is 4x plus 1. And this has to all equal 150 because they told us the perimeter is 150. All right, let me combine like terms. I have a 5x and a 4x, that's 9x, plus another 5x, that's 14x, plus another 4x, altogether that's 18x. So when I add the like terms for the x's, it turns out to be 18x. All right, let me add up the numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus another 2 is 5, plus another 1 is 6. All right, I'm going to solve this equation for x. Well, to get started, I'm going to get rid of this addition of 6. To undo an addition, I use subtraction. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Adding 6, subtracting 6 cancels out on the right. On the left side, I have 144 equals 18x. I want to get x by itself. Right now, x is being divided by, right now, x is being multiplied by 18. So I'm going to divide by 18 because that'll cancel out the 18 on top. Got to do that on both sides. I'm ending up that x equals 8. All right, but we've got to go back to the original question. It said find the length of side VY. Well, VY is this side right here, which you know is 4x plus 1. So we have to calculate 4x plus 1. But we know x is 8. So it's going to be 4 times 8 plus 1. That's 32 plus 1. That's 33. So the answer to this question is 33. All right, let's do a similar example to this, but one that involves area. Let's go down to the bottom. All right, let's take a look at this one. It says the length of a rectangle is 3 times its width. The perimeter is 56. Find its area. All right, well, first thing to get started here, I'm going to draw a little diagram of this rectangle. All right, they're telling me the length is 3 times the width. I'm going to call the width W. You can use whatever letter you want. the length is 3 times the width. That means I can label this width as 3W, right? 3 times the width. And the bottom is going to be the same. But they're telling me the perimeter is 56. Well, the perimeters add up the sides. All right, well, the perimeter is 56. I'm going to add up the size. It's 3W plus W plus 3W plus W. And of course, I know when I have W, it's really the same as 1W. Well, let me combine like terms on the right-hand side. 3W plus 1W is 4W, plus another 3W is 7W, plus another 1 is 8W. So altogether, I'm getting 8W. Well, that means I'll divide both sides by 8 now. That means the width is 7. So I know W is 7. 3W must be 3 times 7, which is 21. All right, well, now all I have to do is find the area. Well, the definition of area is length times width. Well, I know these numbers now. The length was 21, the width was 7. So I could just multiply these together and I get 147. And let's see, this is yards. So the area should be square yards. Remember, area is always measured in square units. All right, folks, hope this is helpful as you're working in Objective 4.